All right, Shalom. First off, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rakah HaKodash, and double honor to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. All right, first off, I want to say Shalom to the ones that push this word out in truth and in sincerity, which are the apostles and elders on down to the brothers. And Shalom to the ones that endure this faith until the very end, until the time of Jacob's troubles, which are again the apostles and elders on down to the brothers and a few sisters. All right, so Shalom. So, I wanted to do this, quick video pretty much based on I guess you want to say an article or something like that, posted by these, I guess, communities. Their profile is literally African religion, right? And what they say on here is that, they do got the map of the ancient worlds pretty much, like you got Africa with Ham, right? Like Shem, Ham, and Japhet, right? But what they got wrong here, let's go one by one here, right? So they say that in this post that Africa is not named after the Roman general Leo Scipio Africanus, right? Which, in a sense, it kind of is, right? But at the same time, yes, it's not. But at the same time, it is, though, right? Because first off, let's keep reading. It says Africanus acquired this title because of his military victories in Africa, right, during the Punic Wars. Now, when you're talking about the Punic Wars, that was around the time in Africa, right? But they're trying to say that it was only because he participated in this. But what was Africa called? Before it was called Africa, right? Because in this article, they cut themselves right here. It says they don't even know, right? They don't even know. It said as, theorized, we don't exactly know the origins of the name of Africa, or like what its name originally was. Right now, the brother Hamiyan, right, GMS Legacy, he went into this. Africa back then was, originated from Akabulam, right? When you go into Akabulam, or even before that, Egypt, right? That's why the Egyptians, they were them Africans, right? Them Hamites. The Egyptians were them dark, tall as Africans, right? That was them. Those were the original Egyptians. Now, when you go back to Egypt, it was what, like bondage, Mizraim, right? They also, they called it Mizraim as well. So when you go into this, right, you're talking about back then, right? The Egyptians, the Philistines, that's what they was also called, right? The Philistines were known as, the Africans. Now, what they try to say, they're trying to say that, the Philistines were Europeans. They're over here trying to say that the Philistines were mixed with Europe, Greeks, which is a lie, right? Because they know damn well the Philistines were actually the Africans. The Philistines are the Hamites. Those are the ones that were, in Africa, in Egypt. Okay? When you talk about the Philistines, they're always going to say that the Philistines were, they just disappeared, right? They're trying to say that the Philistines today are, well, no particular group, which we know, this is why you got to have the wisdom and the knowledge and the power of Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai, right? To understand and decipher, the scriptures, to decipher history. Because they try to say that the Philistines pretty much died out and disappeared during the Neo-Roman Empire, right? Or the Neo-Persian Empire, similar to that, around like what, 600 BCE. But again, they don't realize that the Philistines never died out. They never disappeared, because that was the Hamitic nations. Them people that you see right now in Africa, right? Now you got Israelites that are mixed among the Africans, right? Especially West Africa. West Africa, that's where, our people are, right? In Nigeria, most of those, West Africa, those are the Israelites. That's why when the Europeans colonized Africa, they mostly, like France, they colonized West Africa, which is why most of them speak French. But then I went and I also did a video on this. I researched into it. Man, them Europeans, they was telling them that, yeah, y'all were actually the real Europeans, right? To the West Africans, which were the Israelites, because they know that we were the ones who ruled Europe. But now they're trying to cover it up and say that that the Europeans were lying to the West Africans and saying pretty much false info. And then now they're trying to cover it up again, and they're trying to say that the Europeans never said it at all. So you can see what this devil is doing, right? He's trying to cover up all his tracks throughout history, even till today, but he just can't. Why? Because Obadiah verse 6, right? How are his hidden things sought up and searched out? Right? Through what? The prophets of Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai. Man, we're prophesying against this place today, as the prophets of old have done before time. So this is Salakia. Yep, this is Judges 10 and 9. One of my favorite scriptures. All the 10th chapter, really. It says, moreover, the children of Ammon passed over Jordan to fight also against Judah and against Benjamin and against the house of Ephraim, so that Israel was sore distressed. Right? And it says, now when you go into the house of Ammon, that's the Japanese, right? You got Moab and you got Ammon. It says, and the children of Israel cried unto the Lord, saying, we have sinned against thee, both because we have forsaken our God and also served Balaam. Right? Balaam is another god, pretty much. That's where you get that Baal from. That's all it is. It's Baal. You got Baal Peor. You got many different Baals. And another name for it is just Balaam. It says, and the Lord said unto the children of Israel, did not I deliver you from the Egyptians and from the Amorites, from the children of Ammon, and from the Philistines? Right? So again, the Philistines are who? Israel. I mean, not Israel, them Africans. That would be way off saying that's Israel. No, those are them Africans, right? The Hamites. Now, when you go into this as well, when it comes to Akabulam, they also translated that to, Ethiopia, right? Cush. That's where you get the Cushites from. Those are heathens too. Those are them Ethiopians. So what it say here? We was in captivity under the Philistines many times, and everybody knows how much of an enemy that the Philistines are towards the Israelites, and how many times and how often that the Philistines actually defeated the Israelites at times. Why? Because we started going off and serving unto other gods or serving unto kings, and the Lord allowed them, to take us over a lot of times. There's reasons for that. So we was under their captivity and we was serving unto their gods. And they have a god that's a fish god. They got multiple different gods. But one of their main gods is mentioned in the scriptures is Dagon, right? Which is a fish god. And Israel was worshiping that. And what they was also doing is that they was worshiping Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai, but also worshiping other gods like Dagon. They was merging gods, which is why in Matthews it says, and you can't serve two masters. So, by the Lord's will, this lesson was edifying. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahushai, Ba'ashim Rakahagodash, and Shalom.